Hey YouTube, RicoKnows here. Going to talk to you guys about the NFL draft again. You guys know the deal. I'm breaking down every single draft class and every single draft pick for every team in the NFL. If you want to see all the other videos, go to the homepage, go to RicoKnows, click on the playlist, and you will see it right there. 2025 NFL Draft and Assessments. I talk about every single player, okay? So today's video, we're talking about the Bears. Now, full disclosure, I know if you're watching this video, you're one of those silly fans who supports your team through and through. Every pick you made was amazing, and you're convinced you're winning the Super Bowl next year, and you guys are just all delusional, okay? Chances are, in every draft class, 3 of the picks are good, the rest are all trash, and the team isn't going to be great next year. That's just the way it is, okay? It's the reality of life. So I know that I'm going to get a bunch of guys explaining to me why the picks were made. Every time I do one of these videos, I always get like a long explanation from somebody who's like, you're a casual. You're a casual. You only do this for a living. You're a casual. So let's talk about these picks in this draft. I'm going to surmise the entire draft for the Bears. I'm just going to give it to you guys straight. Probably one of the worst drafts I've seen in a while. I hate this class, and everything they're doing, I'm not excited about it. You can be excited about it. You can say, Rico, this is going to be an amazing class. No, the way they value and evaluate players, it just doesn't work for me. Shout out to the Bears. There are 32 franchises. There are 32. One guy wrote to me and said, you come across as somebody who thinks he knows everything. You come across as a hater. Like, you literally wrote to me to tell me I come across as somebody who thinks he knows everything. If you're so smart, why aren't you a GM? Well, do math, buddy. There's 32 jobs out there. In order to become a GM, you typically either need to know someone in the industry, know someone on the team, and then work your way up, right? They start off as these, I was once a scout, I was once a this, I was once a that, and they keep moving their way up the chain, then eventually they become a GM. Or you can be a head coach and say, hey, I want to be in control of whoever I draft, and I'm a GM now. But I want to tell you guys that none of that matters. I watch these players from home. I watch these players from the couch. I'm a couch potato. There, it sounds better for you? All right, let's talk. First pick in the first round. From my couch, I watched this happen in fucking 4K. We're talking about Colston Loveland getting drafted out of Michigan. Is he a good player? Sure. Is he the 10th overall pick in the draft? Sure. I would just hope not. There's not a day in my life where I would have predicted Colston Loveland goes ahead of Tyler Warren, number 1. And then 10th overall. Just absurd. And especially to a team that already has Cole Kmet. A whole nother conversation. But everybody's going to go, Ben Johnson did this when he was with the Lions. He did this. He made Sam Laporta. No. Slow down. Don't justify it. Just analyze it. Right? Just analyze it, bro. That's all you need to do. All you guys giving me this, oh, well, he did this, he did it. No, man. Look at Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren. And if we had tryouts tomorrow, there's just no way you take Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren. Now, some people will be like, Tyler Warren only had 1 year of productivity, blah, blah, blah. I got this already. I got this in my DMs like crazy. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you guys? Do you know what's happening at Penn State? Do you realize that he had to play with substandard quarterback play his whole career? Or his offensive coordinator got fired and they finally got a real one? Like, do we really need to go down there and break it down like this? Colston Loveland doesn't move the meter for me, but I know he's a good player. Just not the 10th overall player. So for positional value, where he was taken, when he was taken, and team need, it's fucking 0 to me. Like, this is a bad pick. It's not good. It's just a bad pick. Next, in the second round, they take Luther Bird in the 3rd. I don't know. I don't know if you guys just read recruiting websites and their rankings and you just solidify it that way. Like, Luther Bird in the 3rd, coming out of high school, I remember when he was a 5-star and he turned down all the other offers and I'm staying home and I'm going to Missouri and all this shit. And I was just like, all right, cool. And I had to hear about it ever since. I had to hear about it every week. Every time that guy was on TV, I got to hear he's a 5-star. He's a 5-star. He's a 5. So these 3 recruiting websites sat down one day and evaluated players in their underwear when they were 16 and said, yeah, that's a 5-star. And that's your claim to fame moving forward. But if I turn on the tape and watch Luther Bird in the 3rd, he's his team's 2nd leading receiver this year. If I watch Luther Bird in the 3rd on a Saturday, he disappears in the SEC play. I think he had 2 games in the SEC worth watching The rest of the time, he's just gone. And they'll tell me stuff like, oh, well, they game planned him out. Well, what do you think happens in the NFL? Oh, well, his quarterback play was substandard. Really? Really? You want to check the other receivers on the team? You want to check how they're doing? Nah, Luther Burden III disappears in big games. Not the guy for me. Not the guy to take at number 2. You know what? I got another monitor up here. Let me go check something real quick. I'll go to positions. I didn't do this, but I'll go to the positions real quick. Positions, wide receiver. And we'll see when Luther Burden came off. Who was still on the board? Trey Harris. Oh, but Rico, we want somebody smaller, faster. Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams is still on the board. I'm just looking over here. Trey Harris, Kyle Williams. And there's a reason your former 5-star goes after Jaden Higgins. There's a reason. Luther Burden's not him. And speaking of not him, then we take the Ozzy goes off the board in the second round. Ozzy? Fucking, I couldn't believe that. I literally couldn't believe it. It's the guy who used to play left tackle. And then he wasn't good at left tackle in 2022. So then he moves to right tackle. And he's at Boston College playing right tackle for the last 2 years. And he's 6'8", 310 pounds. But he's playing right tackle. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to tell you guys. Now, I have my rankings. I'm pulling up my rankings on the other monitor. Okay? He was nowhere in my top 10. Nowhere. Just double checking. And he goes in the second round. And you don't even need a right tackle. You're drafting backups in the second round. That's crazy. Oh, it's in preparation in case we lose a guy, in case Broderick Jones, okay. All right. Whatever you say, buddy. Ozzy was not needed. And if you want a right tackle, how about get a guy who's been playing right tackle at the highest echelon from day one? How about that? How about Emory Jones Jr., LSU? I'm wearing my shirt, LSU. I'm not an LSU fan, guys. This was a gift. But if you go watch LSU's offensive line, their left tackle's amazing. But that right tackle's been starting every single day. And you don't take the LSU starting right tackle. You'd rather go take Boston College. Scrub. Ozzy doesn't play. He needs to lift weights for like 3 years before I want to see him in the NFL. He's not strong enough. They toss him around. They move that dude around. And it's ACC defensive ends. Nah, it's trash, bro. It's trash. Speaking of trash, Shemar Turner. Shemar Turner got a no draft grade from me, meaning take him off the board. The stuff I see Shemar Turner do on the field is literally not legal. I've watched him strike someone in the groin, like a full-blown uppercut to his nutsack. I'm not exaggerating. He's done things that I would never want on my team in my locker room. He does non-football plays. That's a dirty player. It's just non-draftable. Undraftable. And they took him in the second round. It's crazy, dude. The second round, the Bears had 3 picks in the second round, and they just went in there and said, yo, who are the 3 guys that Rico doesn't like? Let's take 3 dudes that just don't look good on tape. Let's take 3 guys who aren't it. That's what we need to do. We're going to spend 3 picks on this. I feel like they just pissed away the draft all the way around. All the way around. And it's crazy because the way they did it, they have to be evaluating these players and saying to themselves, we're smarter than the rest of the NFL. Yeah, I'm serious. Because where they drafted these players, nobody else agrees. And I'm not, you know me, I'm not one to follow trends. There is not a single front office in the NFL that had those first 4 picks valued the way they did. Nobody's fighting you for Colston Loveland at 10 overall. No one was like, yo, we got to get him because he's going to go off the board at 11. No. This is you individually thinking that guy's this good, I'm going to take him. And the same thing with Luther Burden and Ozzy. There's no teams going, oh, we got to draft this guy because he's going to come off the board soon. No. Nobody agrees with you. And then they go to the 4th round. They take a Ruben Hyppolite. He led them in tackles. He led Maryland in tackles. It's cool. 60 tackles, bro. 60 tackles for a linebacker. You're just not getting to the ball at all. That's trash. And I don't want to just talk about production. Let's talk about him. He's a bigger linebacker, but there was really good linebackers. You could have taken, I don't know, Chris Paul Jr. later in the draft. Like, he's still on the board. There's, go look. I don't even want to go off the top of my head. I just know that this isn't the pick you needed to make. But it's one of these things. Oh, Shemar James. Oh, my God. Shemar James. The Cowboys took him next from Florida. A little smaller, but the upside is there. And it's just one of these situations where, once again, you valued a particular player that nobody else. You know, I hate the Jets. Francisco Malgo was still on the board. Come on, man. The way they're evaluating these players is crazy. Zah Frazier, another example. Zah Frazier, like him, 6'3", can run. He's great. Group of 5 guy. I'm all in on a group of 5 guy. Let's go. Yes, we got one. He's not an offensive tackle. Whoever made this graphic is crazy. He's a fucking corner, okay? This is stupid. Who made this graphic? I don't know. They put offensive tackle here. He's a corner. That's funny. Shout out to Bears Wire. Zah Frazier, 6'3", and can run like the wind and keep up with everybody. And I get it. You wanted to go get a guy with size. But do you guys understand that both Ohio State corners were still on the board at that point right there in the 5th round? Now, maybe I'm just sitting here and I'm talking crazy, but let's think about this, okay? I watched the greatest wide receiver of all time leave UTSA. I'm serious. 2 years ago. He leaves UTSA and he can't start at Ole Miss. Zachary Franklin. I watched one of their star corners transfer to Oregon. Couldn't play. Not any good. I've watched UTSA players. Trey Moore goes to Texas. Disappears. I've watched them trade up and go to bigger programs and not even see the field. They're star players at UTSA, dominating in their conference, beating people every single day, and then they transfer to a bigger school and they never see the field. So that tells me that the players at the bigger schools are just better. I'm just giving it to you straight. And then this is trend analysis. So when I see Zah Frazier, this is the Bears looking at him going, yeah, man, we got one. But if he, and I know he's a good player, and he looks good, but if he went to Ohio State last year, does he start over Jordan Hancock? Denzel Burke? Does he? Or is he on the bench? But you trust your evaluation. This is where the NFL goes and values metrics more than productivity. Right? It's metrics. He's 6'3", we got to have him. Dorian Strong still on the board. Oh, we don't want Dorian Strong. We don't want that kid from Virginia Tech. We don't want that kid from here. No. We're going to go and take the UTSA kid. And look, guys, I'm not here to bash Group of 5 schools. I'm a Group of 5 advocate. I know these players well. I'm always talking about them. I'm always making videos about them. But if we're going out and we're trying to draft players in the 5th round, why do the Bears value these players this way? Why? Longer Beam's the same way. Longer Beam is another corner, fast from Rutgers, ton of plays, and he went in the 7th round. But the Bears are taking these dudes in the 5th round. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm just telling you, man, Bears, the whole scouting department, they're not going to be employed longer than me. Listen to what I'm saying. Every one of the guys who made these picks, GMs, head coaches, scouting department at the Bears, all will be unemployed before me. They're not perfect. They're not good at this. They're not so good that we can't call them out and say they made terrible decisions. They fucking made terrible decisions. It's crazy. Luke Newman, they're saying he's a tackle. He's moving to guard, obviously. This is a former Holy Cross guy. I like Luke Newman a lot. Transferred into Michigan State for his final year. I like him. Cool dude. That's where he probably belongs, later in the 6th round. It's no problem. That's where you can just take him. That's fine. I like Luke Newman. Monangai would not have drafted him. You can take a running back and leave him undrafted. It's the 7th round. It doesn't really matter, but you don't need to draft him. There's a lot of undrafted running backs out there that they didn't. Raheem Sanders didn't get drafted. Raheem Sanders better than Monangai. Monangai transferred to South Carolina, bro. You wouldn't start over Raheem Sanders. So I understand maybe they're looking for a certain skill set or something like that, but Monangai, the only reason his name got on the radar is because after like week 4, PFF put out their rankings and said, yo, this is our highest ranking PFF guys or something like that. And then everybody started putting his name in every conversation because he had a high PFF rating after like week 4 of last year. And it's cool, but go look at Rutgers' schedule and who he did it against. And then you're just like, it doesn't really matter. This isn't a workhorse, a guy that I'm Krosky Merritt was still on the board. Go get Krosky Merritt, bro. We don't even know how good he is. He didn't get to play last year. And we know that when he was playing at New Mexico, he was balling out of control. Like, do that. Take somebody where there's some growth and a ceiling. Instead, you just take Monangai. I don't know. Like, to me, I couldn't see a worse draft. Couldn't see. And I know there's going to be fans out there for the Bears who sit here and go, Loveland's in the future All-Pro and Luther Burden's an All-Pro. And then you don't even know Shemar Ozzy's going to be starting for 5 years and Shemar Turner's going to be a piece of the front. And it's like, bruh, you guys are delusional. You're delusional, bro. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows this was the worst draft I've seen in a minute. Peace.